A sorti la bombe nucléaire, c'est évidemment parce que nous sommes sur le point de gagner les élections.
Sacre bleu! A nuclear bomb has exploded in Paris, or at least that's according to French right-wing politician Marine Le Pen, who on Monday was convicted of embezzlement and sentenced to 4 years in prison, plus a 5-year ban from public office and a $108,000 fine. For reference, Le Pen's National Rally Party had been polling at about 36% in France, making her the front-runner ahead of the country's 2026 presidential election. Now, nuclear bomb might sound like an exaggeration until you remember that this is France we're talking about. You know, the country where former President Nicolas Sarkozy received 50 million euros in illegal campaign financing from former Libyan President Muammar Gaddafi in exchange for economic and security cooperation. It's the same country where Sarkozy's predecessor Jacques Chirac famously shook down his Ivorian counterpart Laurent Gbagbo for 2 billion CFA francs, which is about $4 million, which was delivered to him from Cote d'Ivoire in suitcases filled with cash. And neither of these men was given a 4-year sentence. In fact, in Chirac's case, he was never even formally charged for his actions. Basically, corruption politique is such an endemically French phenomenon that it should be a protected term, and every other country where it happens should only be allowed to call it sparkling misbehavior. So why has Marine Le Pen's diversion of European Parliament funds, which looks positively trivial in comparison, generated what looks like a giant overreaction from the French justice system? The answer to that question, unsurprisingly, is that her potential presidency is viewed by the French political establishment as a bigger threat to the French way of life than anything that Nicolas Sarkozy or Jacques Chirac have done. Her unforgivable crimes include criticizing Ukraine for acting as a US proxy, calling for NATO to make peace with Russia, promising to restrict French military aid to Ukraine and prevent French soldiers from being deployed in Ukraine, and most unforgivably of all, calling for an end to the CFA franc and the surrounding structure of imperial control that France still maintains with at least 11 African countries, which is known as France Afrique. So for those whose job it is to protect democracy in France, merely promising to change the foreign policy of a nuclear power from permanently pro-war, eternally hawkish, nakedly imperialistic direction toward a more inward-focused policy direction is worthy of this punishment, which is without precedent in modern French political history. It's even more interesting that these protectors of democracy recently did something similar in Romania, where they defended democracy by cancelling the result of a free and fair election and then banning the winner from contesting in next month's rerun. His offense? He expressed similar foreign policy ideas to Marine Le Pen. Apparently, you can use imperial power to extort protection money from African presidents and then subsequently invade or bomb their countries into the Stone Age for no reason in particular, and that is known as democracy. But if you run for public office with an anti-imperialist agenda, whether you even intend to actually go through with it or not, that is known as far-right populism and an unforgivable threat to the established democratic order. And for that, you get 4 years in prison, a $100,000 fine, and a multi-year ban from public office. The game is the game.